Hello learners. Till this time we have studied sole proprietorship and partnership. Now we are moving to cooperative society. In this session you will learn meaning and characteristics of cooperative society, merits and limitations of cooperative society, and suitability of cooperative society form of business organization. We came to know about sole proprietorship and partnership. Even if sole proprietorship and partnership form of business organization have many dissimilarities relating to its formation, operation, membership, etc., they work for earning certain profit. But there are other kinds of organization whose main aim is to serve its members. So, profit making is not the main aim of another type of organization, and that is the case of cooperative societies. The term cooperation means working together. So, those who want to work together with some common economic objectives can form a society, and that society is known as cooperative society. Cooperative society is a voluntary association of persons who work together to promote their economic interest. What is the main objective of cooperative society? Its main objective is to provide support to the members. And this society works on the principle of self-help and mutual help. People of same category will form their group and will pool their individual resources and utilize the resources in a best manner in order to derive some common benefit out of it. This is the case of cooperative society. Section 4 of the Indian Cooperative Societies Act 1912 defines cooperative society as a society which has its objectives for the promotion of common interest of its members in accordance with cooperative principles. As a feature of cooperative society, we can study voluntary association. That is, members join the cooperative society voluntarily by their own choice. Without any compulsion, anyone can become member in a cooperative society. Persons having common economic objective will form the society. Farmers, weavers, consumers, etc. will form society as and when they like and will continue as long as they like in that society. Any one member can leave the society when he wants. So, that is relating to the voluntary association of persons in cooperative society. Open membership as a feature of cooperative society. Membership is open to all those having a common economic interest. Consumers will form their own society. Producers will form their own society. So, common interest. Then, membership is irrespective of the caste, sex, color, religion, etc. Persons of any category can become member of a cooperative society. Relating to the number of members, minimum members to form a cooperative society is 10. And maximum numbers is not mentioned in the Act, but members may specify the maximum member after formation of the society. Act has not mentioned how much must be the maximum number of members in a society. But after formation of the society, members can specify the maximum number of members to be included in this society. Societies can be registered under the Cooperative Societies Act of 1912 or under the State Cooperative Societies Act. For each state, different Cooperative Societies Act can be followed, and as per that act also, every society can get registration. Once registered, society becomes a separate legal entity. It is a proof that this society is existing in the eye of law. Once it is registered. Registered society enjoys perpetual succession, that is long life. Registered society has its own common seal, and registered society can enter into agreements with others. Registered society can sue others in a court of law, and it can own properties in its own name. So, these are the benefits of a registered society. State control as a feature of cooperative society. As the registration is compulsory, supervision of the government will be there. That is, control of the government will be there towards each and every society. So, state will control the cooperative society. Cooperative department also watch the functioning of societies. Every society gets its account audited from the cooperative department. So, there is some control from the state government towards each and every society. Relating to the capital, how capital is coming towards the society? Capital will be contributed by members, or in the form of loan from the government, capital will come inside the society. Sometimes loan from apex cooperative institutions will also contribute as a capital of a cooperative society. Democratic setup as a feature of cooperative society. Every member has a right to take part in the management of the society. So, the membership or control is not within the hands of few persons. In the case of company, it is being managed by board of directors of few members. But in the case of cooperative society, every member has the right to take part in the management of the society. So, it is managed in a democratic manner. The society elects a managing committee for its effective management. Cooperative societies are managed in a democratic manner. Every member has the right to take part in the management of the society. Managing committee. Society elects a managing committee for what? For the effective and efficient functioning of that particular society. And managing committee members are elected on the basis of one man, one vote. A, B, C, etc. are three members of the society. A has contributed 1 lakh, B has contributed 3 lakh, C has contributed 5 lakh for this society. So, the share of each member will be different. Irrespective of the shares held by A, B, C, A will also have one voting power, B will also have one voting power, and C will also have one voting power. That is, one man, one vote. Not on the basis of the shares held by each and every member of that society. So, we can say the society is running on the basis of democratic setup. General body lays framework for the functioning of the society, and managing committee will work within the framework of the society that is laid down by the general body. Service motive, which is one of the main objective of the cooperative society, that is to provide service to its members. That is the main aim of the formation of a cooperative society. Profit motive is not the main aim of cooperative society. Service motive. Return on capital investment as a feature of cooperative society. Members get return on their capital. that is invested in the society. The return will come to the members in the form of dividend because shares are given to each member and dividend will come to each member as a part of profit. After giving a limited dividend to the members, surplus profit is distributed as bonus and a certain percentage is kept as reserve for the welfare of the society. Members will get dividend, surplus profit will be distributed as bonus and a part of it will be kept as reserve for the welfare of the society. Then moving to different types of cooperative societies, consumers cooperative societies, producers cooperative societies, marketing cooperative society, housing cooperative society, farming cooperative society and credit cooperative societies are there. Consumers cooperative society. From the word itself you will get an idea who will form this society. Yes, consumers will form this society. These societies are formed to protect the interest of consumers. Why the societies are being formed? To protect the interest of members. Here consumers are the main members. So, to protect the interest of consumers cooperative societies are formed. How they are being given certain benefit? They are given goods of high quality at reasonable price. That is, members will be given goods of high quality at reasonable price. Then, producers cooperative society. These societies are formed to protect interest of small producers, small artisans by making available items of their need, what producers need for their production. That is being given to these producers who are the members of this cooperative society. Usually producers need raw materials, tools and equipments etc. for their production and that is made available at a reasonable price and when they need it will be made available through these societies. Marketing cooperative societies are formed to solve the problem of marketing the products. Usually, small producers will join hands to form marketing cooperative societies and as they are small producers, they have a problem of selling their products in the market at a reasonable rate. At a reasonable profit, they will not be able to sell. So, they will form their own society and this society will solve the problem of marketing the products. Housing cooperative societies. To provide residential houses to the members, housing cooperative societies are formed in urban areas. Nowadays, in urban areas, housing is an inaccessible item for middle income group. That is why these persons formed their own housing cooperative societies to build their houses at a reasonable rate. Then, farming cooperative societies. These societies are formed by small farmers to get the benefits of large-scale farming. Credit cooperative societies. These are started by persons who are in need of credit. Credit cooperative societies accept deposits from the members and grant them loans at reasonable rate of interest. Now, it is time for us to analyze the merits of cooperative society, which includes it is easy to form a cooperative society, it has limited liability, membership is open to all, state assistance is there, stable life is there, tax concession is there and democratic management in cooperative society. Dealing with the merits one by one. Cooperative society is so easy to form. Any 10 members can voluntarily form an association to form a society and get this registered with the Registrar of Cooperative Societies. The registration is very simple and does not require much legal formalities. Limited liability as a merit of this form of organization. The liability of the members of the cooperative societies is limited up to their capital contribution. They are not personally liable for the debt of the society. Open membership as a merit of cooperative society. Any like-minded person can join the cooperative society anytime, and there is no restriction on the basis of caste, color, sex, etc. to join in a cooperative society. The time of entry and exit is generally kept open always. State assistance as a merit of this form of organization. The need for the country's growth has necessitated the growth of economic status of the weaker sections. Therefore, cooperative societies always get assistance in the form of loans, grants, subsidies, etc. from state government as well as central government. Stable life as a merit of cooperative society. Death, insolvency or resignation of any member does not affect existence of the cooperative society. It has perpetual succession, that is long life, stable life. Society has stable life. Tax concession. To encourage people to form cooperative societies, the government provides tax concession and exemptions which keep on changing from time to time. Democratic management as a merit of cooperative society. The cooperative societies are managed by the managing committee, which is elected by the members, and members will decide the rules and regulations within the limits of law. Every form of organization will have its own limitation. So, cooperative society also has some limitations like limited capital, lack of managerial expertise, less motivation, lack of interest and corruption. Lack of capital. Members having limited means are joining the cooperative society. So, it is not possible from them to collect huge capital. So, the society will have a defect of limited capital. Government will assist, but government assistance is often inadequate to run the cooperative society. Lack of managerial expertise. The managing committee, which is elected by the members, may sometimes have lack of managerial expertise because professional managers cannot be placed to manage cooperative societies. Why? Because lack of funds. Professional managers need high salary which cannot be afforded by most of the societies. So, professionally expert persons are not managing the cooperative society. So, lack of professional management as a demerit of the cooperative society. Less motivation as a limitation of cooperative society. Since the rate of return on capital is less, members do not always involve in the affairs of the society. If the return is more, usually people will work more. But if the return is less, the members will not divert their own time to involve in the activities of the society. Lack of interest as a limitation of cooperative society. When the society is formed first because of everyone's interest, everyone will be so much interested to run this society. And after some time, this interest will be subsided or exhausted. And there will be clash among the members, or some members will engage in some illicit activities. So, this will happen or this may happen. This makes the society lifeless and inactive. Corruption as a limitation of the cooperative society. Even if government regulation and periodical audit of accounts are taking place in cooperative society, the corrupt practices in the management cannot be completely ignored in the case of cooperative society. Now, every form has its own suitability. So, this form is suitable for which type of organizations? You have already learned that cooperative society form of business organization is a voluntary association of persons who are not financially strong. That is, because of limited money, they cannot stand on their own legs and start and run the business individually. So, to solve the common problem or to meet the common requirements, this form of business organization is more suitable to the farmers, artisans, weavers, etc. People can join hands to form consumer products, to build residential houses, for marketing the products, to provide loans and advances. So, cooperative society can be framed in this form. Cooperative society form of business organization is most suitable for small business operations and medium-sized business operation. So, dear learners, in this session we have studied the meaning of cooperative society, its characteristics, limitations and merits. Suitability of this form of organization has also dealt with. Hope you understood this session very well. Thank you.
वर्ष 1989 में एक स्वायत्त संस्था के रूप में भारत सरकार के मानव संसाधन विकास मंत्रालय द्वारा स्थापित राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय शिक्षा संस्थान NIOS दूरस्थ शिक्षा की विश्व में सबसे बड़ी मुक्त विद्यालय शिक्षा प्रणाली है। 25 लाख से अधिक पंजीकृत शिक्षार्थियों के साथ NIOS देश विदेश में 1200 से अधिक व्यावसायिक और 5500 से अधिक शैक्षिक अध्ययन केंद्रों के नेटवर्क द्वारा शिक्षा वंचितों तक पहुंचने का प्रयास करता है।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं।
जनमानस में शिक्षा और प्रशिक्षण से सामाजिक आर्थिक विकास को एक नई गति प्रदान की जा सकती है। इसी क्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हुए NIOS जन स्वास्थ्य में 1 वर्षीय प्रमाण पत्र पाठ्यक्रम राज्य स्वास्थ्य समिति स्वास्थ्य विभाग बिहार के साथ प्रारंभ करने जा रहा है। इस पाठ्यक्रम का उद्देश्य होगा सामुदायिक स्वास्थ्य कार्यकर्ताओं को शिक्षित और प्रशिक्षित करना। अगर आंकड़ों पर गौर करें तो लगभग 10 करोड़ की आबादी के साथ बिहार देश में जनसंख्या के आधार पर तीसरे स्थान पर है। राज्य का 2/3 भाग ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में निवास करता है, जो कि कुल जनसंख्या का 88.71% है। गौर करने योग्य तथ्य ये है कि आज बिहार में एक बड़ी आबादी पर डॉक्टरों की उपलब्धता का अनुपात बहुत ही कम है। इन आंकड़ों अनुपातों को ध्यान में रखते हुए जन स्वास्थ्य की सुविधाओं के सुगम निष्पादन का एकमात्र उपाय हो सकता है प्रशिक्षित सामुदायिक स्वास्थ्य कार्यकर्ता। सामान्यतः सुदूर ग्रामीण अंचलों में कार्यरत एक प्रशिक्षित सामुदायिक स्वास्थ्य कार्यकर्ता निवारात्मक तथा उपचारात्मक स्वास्थ्य सेवाएं प्रदान करता है, जो कि मानव शरीर विज्ञान तथा क्रिया विज्ञान का आधारभूत ज्ञान और स्वास्थ्य, स्वच्छता एवं पोषण विज्ञान की समझ भी रखते हैं। जन स्वास्थ्य का ये पाठ्यक्रम सफलतापूर्वक करने के बाद प्रशिक्षित सामुदायिक स्वास्थ्य कार्यकर्ता संक्रामक, असंक्रामक तथा जीवन शैली संबंधित रोगों सहित आपातकालीन स्थिति में किए जाने वाले उपायों और रोगों की रोकथाम करने में सक्षम होंगे। साथ ही प्राथमिक उपचार, औषधि विज्ञान, फार्मेसी तथा दवाओं के दुष्प्रभावों का व्यवहार ज्ञान प्राप्त कर सकेंगे। परिवार नियोजन तथा टीकाकरण सहित मातृत्व व बाल स्वास्थ्य पर मार्गदर्शन करने में भी दक्ष होंगे। आज बढ़ती जनसंख्या के अनुरूप डॉक्टरों का उपलब्ध न हो पाना एक विषम समस्या बन गई है। समय की मांग है ऐसे प्रशिक्षित कार्यकर्ताओं को तैयार करने की जो तत्काल ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों, अस्पतालों, नर्सिंग होम और स्वास्थ्य क्लबों में जन समुदाय की देखरेख कर सके। इसके लिए प्रत्येक गांव मोहल्ले से कम एक व्यक्ति को जन स्वास्थ्य के इस व्यावसायिक प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रम के माध्यम से प्रशिक्षण देकर कुशल बनाया जाएगा। ये प्रशिक्षित कार्यकर्ता समाज में बहुउद्देशीय स्वास्थ्य रक्षक के रूप में कार्य करेंगे। स्वास्थ्य संबंधी जागरूकता, प्राथमिक उपचार के साथ आपातकालीन स्थितियों जैसे बाढ़ और भूकंप जैसी आपदाओं में ये कार्यकर्ता उपयुक्त उपचार करने में सक्षम होंगे। जन साधारण के लिए परिवार कल्याण, रोगों की रोकथाम, स्वास्थ्य विज्ञान, स्वस्थ पर्यावरण, पोलियो निवारण तथा एड्स जैसे विषयों को इस कार्यक्रम में प्राथमिकता के साथ समाहित किया गया है। NIOS के जन स्वास्थ्य पाठ्यक्रम से उन शिक्षार्थियों को भी औपचारिक रूप से प्रशिक्षित किया जा सकता है जो भविष्य में स्वास्थ्य कार्यक्रमों में सक्रिय भागीदारी करके एक बहुउद्देशीय जन स्वास्थ्य कार्यकर्ता के रूप में कार्य कर सकेंगे। इस प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रम के लिए राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय शिक्षा संस्थान द्वारा व्यावसायिक विषय जन स्वास्थ्य में प्रमाण पत्र पाठ्यक्रम हेतु बिहार राज्य के 38 जिलों में 149 प्रथम रेफरल इकाइयों और 533 प्राथमिक स्वास्थ्य केंद्रों में सामुदायिक स्वास्थ्य कार्यकर्ताओं को प्रशिक्षण दिया जाएगा। इन इकाइयों और केंद्रों को निर्धारित मानदंडों के अनुरूप NIOS के अध्ययन केंद्र AVI के रूप में प्रत्यायित किया जाएगा। प्रत्यायन के उपरांत इन अध्ययन केंद्रों पर प्रशिक्षणार्थियों का नामांकन आरंभ होगा। केंद्र समन्वयक इन केंद्रों का संचालन करेंगे। केंद्र समन्वयक के मार्गदर्शन में केंद्रों का प्रत्यायन, प्रशिक्षणार्थियों का नामांकन, शैक्षिक गतिविधियां, प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रम एवं परीक्षा कार्य NIOS द्वारा निर्धारित मापदंडों के अनुरूप निष्पादित किए जाएंगे। प्रवेश के लिए अभ्यर्थी की योग्यता 10वीं पास और कम से कम 3 वर्ष का सामुदायिक स्वास्थ्य कार्यकर्ता के रूप में अनुभव होना आवश्यक है। जन स्वास्थ्य के व्यावसायिक पाठ्यक्रम की अध्ययन योजना में 40% सिद्धांत एवं 60% प्रयोग और प्रशिक्षण होगा। इस पाठ्यक्रम के 3 भाग हैं: आधारभूत जीव विज्ञान, मातृत्व एवं बाल स्वास्थ्य की देखभाल और रोगों व आपातकालीन स्थितियों में निवारण एवं प्रबंधन। इसके अंतर्गत शरीर क्रिया विज्ञान, प्राकृतिक स्वास्थ्य, घरेलू उपचार, पोषण, योग और व्यायाम, गर्भावस्था के दौरान महिला की देखरेख, स्तनपान, राष्ट्रीय स्वास्थ्य कार्यक्रम, परिवार कल्याण कार्यक्रम, स्वास्थ्यकर्ता के उत्तरदायित्व, संक्रामक रोग एवं निवारक उपाय, प्राथमिक उपचार, फार्मेसी तथा औषधि प्रतिक्रिया प्रबंधन एवं आपातकालीन स्थिति जैसे विषयों का अध्ययन किया जाता है। टीकाकरण, बेहोशी में बचाव का प्रबंधन, जलने और डूबने की स्थिति में आपातकालीन उपाय, हड्डी टूटने की स्थिति में रोगी का स्थानांतरण तथा प्राथमिक उपचार प्रमुखता से सम्मिलित है। योग की अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर स्वीकार्यता और महत्ता को देखते हुए इस पाठ्यक्रम में योग का अर्थ अष्टांग योग के विभिन्न चरणों और योगासनों के साथ साथ प्राणायाम की विधियों को प्रमुखता से सम्मिलित किया गया है। एक राष्ट्रीय लक्ष्य के रूप में सभी के लिए शिक्षा और स्वास्थ्य आज एक प्राथमिकता का विषय है। भावी प्रशिक्षणार्थियों की सामाजिक आर्थिक विषमताओं को ध्यान में रखकर तैयार किए गए जन स्वास्थ्य के इस पाठ्यक्रम के संचालन से एक नई व्यावसायिक प्रशिक्षण क्रांति को दिशा मिलेगी। जनमानस के विकास में राज्य स्वास्थ्य समिति बिहार और NIOS का यह संयुक्त प्रयास एक नई दिशा दिखाएगा और जन स्वास्थ्य के क्षेत्र में शिक्षा प्रशिक्षण का ये पाठ्यक्रम एक नई किरण बनकर समाज को रोशन करेगा।